Not to like the DA Show tomorrow morning on Sports Radio The Ticket.
Monday's mean press conferences down at the Blameyer Football Complex. Andy Avalos, Dirk Koetter, Spencer Danielson today. We'll play you some of these highlights of the presser today, Prater. Should Taylen Green run more? Was that on your conscience coming in today?
Well, yeah, we certainly, I think it was a little bit of a buzz in the press box on Saturday night trying to figure out what was going on with Taylen Green. And, 3 straight games, I believe. He's somewhere right around 5, 6, 7 times. He's learning how to pass the ball. He's learning how to be a quarterback, not just a runner. So I think there's a lot of dynamics that come into play here. But at the end of the day, should Taylen Green have more than 5 carries for 14 yards? I think so. And we learned a few things about it from the coaches today.
Mm-hmm. Let's start with Andy Avalos. He talked about Taylen Green seeing different situations, each defense being different in a different situation, JP.
Not only his experience within our offense and operating it, the things that he does well, but it's seen other defenses, seen more defense, being in more situations. So how we take that, how we learn from each one of these pieces within the game, again, from the operation and the leadership of our offense, of him leading himself, him leading the guys around him, us putting him in position to do the things that he does well and the players around him that they do well. But again, a big part of that experience too is going against different defensive looks, being in different situations, seeing different third down plans, seeing different red zone plans, and so on.
All right, here's an exchange with Andy Avalos in terms of Taylen Green and trying to find that perfect balance between running the ball and passing the ball and the progression that Taylen Green has as a complete quarterback. Here's Andy Avalos.
Part of that is, Mike, yes, because he is, such a big factor in the run game too, but certain things are being done on the other side to take that piece away. So then what is it that gets opened up when teams are taking that away? But yes, we as a staff will do a better job making sure that not only are we putting those guys in position to get those opportunities, but charting those situations and how many times, each ball carrier is actually carrying the ball, not just what's being called, but how many times George is getting the ball, the wide receivers, certain wide receivers, because we got to keep count of how many times, the guys that have shown to be effective with the ball in their hands get it.
Is part of it also in terms of you're trying to establish him as a passer? Is there a thought process there where maybe passing right now is more of a priority as well?
No, I think it's balanced, right? It's being balanced because, we're talking about the run game, right? So there's a balance within the run pass game. Then what is the balance within the run game of how many plays are actually read plays versus not read plays? That's really where it comes down to, you know what I'm saying? And then being able to manage that within a game, again, based off of what defenses are doing.
There's Andy Avalos talking about there, Prater running, passing. And I talked to Dirk about this, or I asked Coach Koetter about this, I should say, about, a lot of times you'll see a young quarterback, their first sign of an open, they're going to take it and they're going to escape and they're not going to worry about throwing the ball. They're going to beat people on foot. Taylen hasn't done that at all. He sits in the pocket, he goes through with his progression, and he's completing his passes at a very high level right now. His poise, I think, is as strong as I've seen a young quarterback around here, maybe ever. And Andy Avalos talked about that too, the poise of Taylen Green.
Yeah, and really some of those drives weren't much longer in terms of how much time it took the offense to score than what was left at the end of the clock. And in 100% honesty, I felt extremely confident in Taylen and what I've seen him do and what I saw him do in the game, as a whole, again. But within those situations, execution is everything. Every down matters. And we didn't get off to a fast start on that last drive. You're always in those situations, a 2-minute, whether it's before the half, at the end of the game, that first play being a positive yardage play, it's everything. And then to take the penalty. But he was in rhythm and he did a bunch of great things in the second half, along with the with the offense altogether. And that's what we're working to do in the first half. We were a little slow to get that rhythm going. We got to be able to start faster. And that's not just on the offense, that's as a whole. And so that's my focus, is to make sure that our plan this week is such that will allow us as a whole team in all three phases to start faster and get in rhythm faster.
And there's Coach Avalos again, wanting to start fast, being in that rhythm faster and for longer periods of time too. Now let's get Prater to the Dirk Koetter portion of this segment. He spoke obviously today as well as he does on Mondays, and talked about that last drive. There was the penalty. They got behind the chains a little bit, and Dirk Koetter talking about being that a teaching moment for the young signal caller.
Yeah, Taylen did fine. I mean, just did, we practice that situation every week, every Wednesday in practice, some variation of that. And, we got behind the chains. We drop a pass on first down. Could have easily been 2nd and 5. We throw the screen on 2nd down, get the penalty. So now we're way behind the chains. And, that was a really nice throw he made to get us back to the 4th and 8. And we called what we thought was our best play. They were in a drop 8-man coverage where they had some extra guys, and he was just a little bit late getting back to number 2 on that. And we had run that play earlier in the game. So, Taylen played fine. All I tell you guys every week, I mean, all the experiences he's getting in the game, in each game, that goes into his experience bank that's gonna help him through the rest of his career.
We'll touch on that a little bit more with Koetter here in a second, but he was also asked about just the basic question that we asked Andy Avalos. The one question that's probably been on your guys' mind over the last couple of days: why isn't Taylen Green running more?
Hey, do you remember the one that was in the second half? It was 2nd and 1. It was 2nd and 1 from the press box going towards our bench, and he pulled it on the read, and he kept it, and he cut it up for a 5-yard gain and went down. He took a dive. You remember that play? So that's in a nutshell. That was zone read, and in a nutshell, that when I say people are boxing him in, I mean, ever since the first game when he just ran around San Diego State's defense, I mean, that's what defenses do. They keep leverage and they make you cut it inside. And so, Taylen wants to use his speed, but at 6'5" or 6'6", whatever he is, and 215 pounds, that guy doesn't want to run between the tackles very much. I mean, he's going to get killed running in there. So that was a good example of him running, getting the first down, not taking a shot. But, it's unrealistic to think he's going to run around the defense. Like those guys are on scholarship too. They're coaching them to keep their leverage.
If you're looking at just pure numbers, and there's obviously a lot that goes into it, as Koetter explains there, Taylen Green ran 30 times in his first 3 games. In his last 3 games, he's ran 13 times. I mean, that's significant. 3 games versus 3 games, one of them 30 times, one of them 13. That's 17 less runs over the same 3-game window. So I think that's one thing that Taylen Green's going to have to learn over his career is Dirk Koetter's 1,000% right. Those beautiful gazelle, giraffe sideline runs that we've seen that we've fallen in love with.
Yeah.
Don't count on them.
Yeah, they don't pop open every series. You take it when you have it, and it might be 2 or 3 times this season. Maybe it's 2 or 3 times a game. They're going to pop at certain moments. Taylen Green in the last 3 games has 43 rushing yards total. He has more rushing yards in the San Diego State game on September 30th than he has had the 4 next games combined. Like, saying this kid's a running quarterback wouldn't be accurate in the past month. He's not running, and I wanted to get that out of Dirk as well. He is, however, greatly improving on his passing, and Dirk Koetter talked about that.
Yeah, I was real impressed. I mean, he's been threading them pretty tight. I mean, he had some tight windows there. Those 2 to Latrell, that one, I think it was in the 3rd quarter to Cobbs over the middle. I mean, that was a very tight window. In the 4th quarter, the one that he hit McAllister on, Emac was a little short on his route, which makes those windows even tighter. And he threaded that one in there. So Taylen has improved a lot. And that's part of what we got going on right now is we're a solid running team and an improving passing team. And I think I probably hurt us in the first half by being a little too conservative. We were actually trying to get George going more than we were trying to get Latrell going. And then if you think about it, if you take out the one player at the end, we had 4 total drives in the first half. We had a touchdown and we had 3 3-and-outs. We had a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 5, a 3rd and 6, which leads us to getting 17 plays in the first half. We couldn't convert a 3rd down. And, to get more plays, you got to stay on the field. And BYU was able to do that. We weren't.
All right, let's take you back to the end of the first half. And many of you were scratching your head as we were in the press box. Rodney Robinson comes up with the big pick of Jaron Hall. All of a sudden, Boise State 1st and 10 on Boise State's only 20. And here comes Taylen Green. Whoops! Sacked. Loss of 10 yards. Fumble on the sack. BYU has the ball and they're in business. Boise State was able to take care of business and cover up for that. But here's Dirk Koetter on that exchange.
I would say we put Taylen in a bad position there in that situation with 23 seconds left in the half. That was something that we should not have done. We should have ran the ball there. We were going to get the ball at the start of the second half. So that's a bad coaching decision by the play caller. Let me go back on that real fast. That's a bad decision by the play caller, and I take full responsibility for that. With that said, that is a great learning lesson for the quarterback because ultimately the coach calls the plays and the player plays the game. And so those are the kind of things that he's learning all the time. And like I said, I try very hard to not put Taylen in disadvantageous positions, whatever the word is. But I did there, unfortunately, and we paid the ultimate price. Thank God it didn't hurt us, thanks to an unbelievable defensive stand by our defense.
Yeah. Koetter, his thoughts on the final thing, and Koetter, obviously stand-up guy saying, that's me, my fault, don't blame anybody else.
Although earlier in the press conference, Andy Avalos took the blame for that as well.
Mm-hmm. And Spencer Danielson took 100% of the blame for the defense, too.
Yeah.
We will hear from Spencer in a half hour as we talk about what happened to Boise State's defense. We want your thoughts on the Coverdale Plumbing text line. One more thing on Dirk, and I used the term testy. Prater said it's not testy. It was just
one more. There's one more in there about the teaching of the poise.
Oh, shoot, I missed that one.
Yep.
Here's Dirk Koetter talking about the first half. Teaching the poise.
Yeah, it's important. But, okay, so far, Taylen needs to run more. Ashton needs more touches. We're happy that Latrell got involved. Steph Cobbs is pretty good. A couple weeks ago, we wanted Riley to get more touches. So, I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I've been talking to groups like you a long time. The object of the game is to win the game, no matter how you do it, no matter who gets the touches. That's the object. We came up 3 points short, and I didn't do a very good job in the first half. Our team played pretty darn good in the second half. Our offense played good in the second half. We got to start faster, and we got to turn over those 3rd downs. We got to convert those 3rd downs. If we do that, we'll have a chance to win every week, and that's what I'm here to do is help us win games. I didn't do my best, but who gets the touches? That's not my main issue. Getting in the end zone is my main issue.
I love the thing too. Like, is there a coach that says, "Hey, man, we want to start slow"? Prater, I want to ease into this show.
Yeah, not going to happen.
I don't want to have a good start to the show. I just want to kind of feel it around, and then, but yeah, I want. And it's funny that every press conference in the country, the coaches say, we got to start fast. It's one of those things. I love it. An Idaho player has been named Big Sky Player of the Week, and what a week it was. JP has the details there in Rock Chalk's Pop Culture. If you want Boise State, Washington State basketball tickets for Saturday night, stay tuned. We're giving them away during Rock Chalk's and Pop Culture here on Prater the Ballgame.
This is Idaho Sports Talk with Prater.